So we're welcome to the Ketchup and Mustard Variety Hour, whatever it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we haven't really settled on a name yet.
yeah. I'm kind of still editing the other podcast. I'll have it up in a bit, but
Oh, cool.
yeah, I haven't really had time to work on it yet. I was kind of busy this week.
Yeah, you had a busy day yesterday.
Yeah, yeah. With the shoot at the mall, some people from Victoria were down that I just met kind of online. I never had met them before, so I didn't even know what they looked like. And I just saw some people carrying sandbags into the mall at about the right time. And I said, are you the guys from the movie?" And they said, "Yep." So yeah, so I got helped them out, carried some stuff into the mall. Then we shot. I guess they didn't really start shooting until after the mall shut down around 6 o'clock. And then we had the entire mall to ourselves basically from that point on until about 10:30 at night.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that if you filmed while the mall was open or not.
No, we got everything set up, and then we just waited till the mall closed at 6. And then yeah, we shot. It was supposed to be in a mall overnight anyway, so it's not supposed to be
Uh,
during the day. So it's supposed the idea is there's a heist, and that they're looking for an SD card for that has a film movie on there, and then they're trying to
uh,
sneak out of this building without being caught because there's cameras everywhere. So they have to sneak around, and they get chased by the mall security guard or something like that. So he's chasing after them through the halls. That's pretty funny. They did a few stunts with him tripping over a body and sliding on the ground and stuff. So yeah, it was pretty amusing.
did they have to get some kind of permission to film
Yeah,
there or pay?
yeah. They I think the director, um, his name is Joe Rule, which is an interesting name. But
Yeah.
yeah, Joe Rule. Anyway, I guess his family knows the people that own the mall or something. So
Uh,
he had a connection. And then I think the maintenance man who was kind of in charge of us doing he had a lot of interest in photography, so he was really helpful and was like really supporting us.
ah.
So he kind of knew what needed to be done, what shot needed to be in the shot. He kind of had an idea what needed to be, like how things would be set up, and covering the skylights with blankets, so it would cut out some of the light coming down. And yeah, he was very helpful.
Now, what is your job on the set?
What was my job? Basically, I was I helped out with whatever I could, but I said I wouldn't mind being a script supervisor. So I was basically just looking for continuity on the with the actors and so on. So I did a bit of that. It was some of it was I said I only had access to the script that day, so I didn't really know
Yeah.
what we were shooting until really we were in the middle of it. So I just did the best I could, just keep an eye out what I thought was continuity problems or if things were what order them. But things went pretty well, so I wasn't that demanding.
And
But
you said you were there quite a while.
yeah, we're there from I was there a little earlier just to have lunch there. I met my brother there and we just had lunch at about 3 o'clock. But we're supposed to the call time on the call sheet was 4:45. Call time on 4:45.
Yeah.
It was 4:45, and then from 4:45 we were there till about 1:20 or 1:30 in the morning. But we were kicked. We had to be kicked out of the interior of the mall at 10:30 or before 11 because the alarm would be armed, and if anyone was inside, we would set the alarms off, and the
Oh,
police
geez.
would come. So we had to be out of there at a certain time. We had to be out of there before 11. So at 10:30, we were kind of quickly moving all the gear outside. But then outside, we shot for a few more hours, just some chase scenes and some outdoor stuff in the parking lot, which was kind of fun too. So and it was actually quite warm night. It wasn't cold outside at all. We're just in shirts and t-shirt, like shorts and t-shirts, and it was fine. And there's a big full moon out there, which is kind of illuminating us, so it was kind of neat.
Sounds like a fun shoot.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. Like I said, I've never met these people before, but they all were like film fans. We were talking about like cult films and Tarantino and all that stuff, and all my favorite things I like to talk about. So yeah, it's definitely my people that were there. So I got along with them all. Yeah, the thing about what's that?
Oh, I was gonna say, how did you originally meet up on a film site or?
I think it was just on Facebook. I think they're just saying they're looking for. I'm not sure what it was. They just had I think he posted that he had a film he was shooting sometime because he's from Victoria, so they were there. They all had like Airbnb. They were staying in Nanaimo. Nanaimo was about 2 hours out of Victoria, so a couple hours away. So they're basically staying there for a few nights and shooting in this mall. And I think I just saw that they had, they're looking for people to help out. And so I just volunteered. And I said, if anytime you're up closer to where I live, which is, near Nanaimo and stuff, then I'd love to help. So they're pretty helping. And he said, the Joe Rule, the director, said I reminded him of Randy Quaid. And I go, Randy Quaid? Really? Isn't he like a paranoid schizophrenic or something like that? Where, like holed up in Canada. He said, oh no, before he got grizzled when he was younger. I was like, okay. So I'm not even the good looking Quaid brother like Dennis. I'm like the crazy looking Randy Quaid. So
yeah.
But he said he liked my vibe and kind of the vibe I had on set. So I got along well with everybody, and we were just joking around, had a fun time.
Well, usually you end up in front of the camera.
Yeah, I've acted in a few films, but this one, like I say, I don't know. One thing about me, I have a hard time memorizing lines. I cannot. So unless I do something or have only a short amount of lines, or I can repeat them over and over and over again until I have got them kind of like ingrained in my brain, I can't really act. So I don't know, but these guys are all really good actors. They had quite long dialogue scenes, and they had rehearsed. I think the whole day they'd been rehearsing before they showed up at the mall. So they had it all down pretty good. All the actors are really good, and they're all quite young. I think they ranged in age from like maybe teenagers, like 17 or 18, all the way up to like, well, there's some that were, I think, around 20, in their late 20s, still playing a teenager.
Oh, wow.
And then there was an older gentleman that was in his probably 60s or 50s. I think he was the mall security guy. I think he was the older guy. He was a crazy guy. I've never met him before, but he was like, he was singing show tunes in between takes and stuff like that. So quite a character. You can tell he was an actor because he's kind of performing all the time. No, it was fun. It was a fun shoot, and I get to see them again. I think at least some of them next Wednesday when I go back to help out. I think they're doing pickups and maybe get anything shot that didn't get done this week.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
How much of the film takes place in the mall?
I think it's a climax, so it's actually a pretty important part of the movie. They've already been shooting for, I think it's a feature-length film. Like I saw the script and it was over 120 pages, so it's a big script. But they're hoping to cut it down to under 90 minutes. But I don't know. I mean, that script was pretty long, and it just seemed like pretty big script. And they've been shooting, I think, since late June. But they had a couple weeks off. They've been filming stuff here and there. But this is the kind of the climax, kind of the big action set piece at the mall, where they have to get because I think the whole idea is that they have a SD card of a movie that got stolen or misplaced, and they have to get it back. And so they're trying to steal it without being caught and all that stuff, and being chased around the mall by the security people. So
Now the interesting thing about the mall is with all the stores in there, did they have to get any kind of permission to use the?
Yeah, I see. I mean, I'm not sure. I think they were shooting. They're keeping. I haven't seen all the. I didn't see that many takes, but I think they were trying to be careful not to get too many like logos
Yeah.
or names of the stores in the shop. But who knows? They might have got a few in there, but I think for the most part it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's actually a few. Luckily they have a few empty spots in the mall that are for lease that haven't been rented out. So we had a big area. We could put all our gear in a couple places. We keep it kind of out of the sight and out of people's way, so that we could access it pretty easily. And actually, the maintenance guy that was showing us the back room. I guess there's like an abandoned medical center in there.
Oh wow!
Like it used to be like a clinic or something, like a huge clinic with like super like lots of rooms with like bathrooms, like a bunch of bathrooms, and it was almost like the floor of an apartment building. There was so many rooms, and he said that we could shoot something back there if we wanted. So I was like thinking of ideas. Like shoot something back there. It's pretty cool. Like it was all abandoned, but like, yeah, it looked pretty cool. Like it was the biggest, and you could definitely like live back there. Really, it was that huge,
wow.
like an apartment floor. and he was showing us back. He goes, I doubt it's ever going to be leased out for the time being, because it's so dedicated to being a clinic. You couldn't just do it as any others. You couldn't use it for any other purpose. It would have to be a medical clinic that wanted to use it, because everything was kind of designed to suit that. So it's pretty. So he doesn't think it'll be rented out anytime soon. So it'd be pretty. So it was like a little hidden gem back there that was kind of surprising to see. Yeah, it was pretty fun.
That's potential to be kind of creepy too.
Yeah, it was pretty creepy. It was like, and I guess there's some creepy stories that happened back there. He's gonna tell us these stories. I've never heard the story, but something creepy supposedly happened back there. It looked like one of those abandoned kind of like those, what do you call those places, that the back rooms or something. It's definitely a back room vibe in that place.
Could film a whole nother movie there.
Yeah, exactly. The abandoned clinic or something.
Yeah. So you weren't on they didn't have you on the other part of the movie? Like
what other part? Oh,
before the movie. Yeah.
I'd only, they had shot most, I think the rest of it in Victoria and other parts. Yeah. And they just come to Nanaimo because they had the location set at the mall. And that's why I met them. And so I think they were going to shoot 3 days. Like they're shooting Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week. And then they're going back home to Victoria. And then they're coming back, I think, next week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday again. And they're going to get any shots they didn't get the first time. So it probably won't be as long of a shoot.
Yeah.
But just get anything they need. But I guess they'll have all the same actors. I'm not sure if they'll all be back or just most of them. And it's funny because the director had to play it. They're all wearing masks as the heist, right? So all these guys sneaking into the mall wearing masks. So the director is actually, he's substituting as a role for one of his other actors who couldn't make it, because he has a similar build and look to the actor. So luckily enough, he can just substitute himself in there. But that made it a little more interesting, because he's basically directing himself running around.
Yeah. Had you ever done any kind of location like that before?
No, not a mall. That's one reason I wanted to do it, because I thought that's pretty interesting that they actually got access to a mall overnight. Usually big budget movies would have something like that, because it would cost you a few $1,000s a day to do something like that. So the fact they got it for free was pretty amazing, and they're being so accommodating to us. It was quite interesting. Like I said, it was I think the name of the movie is A Real Heist, because the real is referring REEL, referring to the movie that's on the SD card that got stolen. So Yeah, so it should be interesting. I looked at their IMDb page, and they have a few of the actors up there on there. Yeah, but it's interesting. I think it's the first feature film that this director Joe Rule has done. He's made a few shorts beforehand, but it's his first kind of big feature length movie. And supposedly, I think he got a grant,
Oh,
but to do around, I'm not sure how much the budget is, or I wasn't sure, but yeah, I think he got a bit of a grant to cover some of the costs, so that was good. We had craft services, like a table with oranges and grapes and potato chips and cookies and so we had snacks we could munch on if we're getting hungry, because we were there for quite a few hours. But it's fun. Yeah, it's fun. Like this film set definitely has a certain vibe to it, which I really can relate to. I've been on a different one, but it had the same kind, not the same characters, but the actors. You can kind of tell the actors have a certain vibe. The crew members are a little different, and there's always somebody who's like the film genius, who has all the film knowledge and all that stuff, and the director likes old films and all these things. This kind of there's a certain kind of vibe on set, and I kind of fit in with that, so they definitely feel like my kind of people. I'm sure you get along well with them too if you're on a set like that, just because you're a film fan. You'd be joking around with them too, just like I said, that joke I made when they're talking about Star Trek, and how no matter what you think about Shatner's acting, he will always be in history known as one of the first person to have an interracial kiss on television. And then somebody said it was originally planned for Spock, but Shatner put a kibosh on that. And so I basically said, I guess, so Kirk essentially Spock blocked him. They all thought that was pretty funny. So
yeah, it's definitely like a film kind of geek kind of
joke. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's cool. So yeah, and every time you're on like a set, you're always like networking with people, because their actors are always looking for new. They always ask, are you working on a script and all this stuff? So everyone wants to keep on working. So these guys are all volunteers; they're not getting paid, but they want to get more experience, and they're pretty young.
Yeah.
So you get all their information, their cell numbers, and some of their emails and all that stuff, and you try to make connections, because you never know when you might need them on a film in the future. So that's always fun. Kind of making new connections, new friends and stuff.
Did you tell them about any of your stuff you've worked on, or
a little bit? I talked a little bit about it, but I kind of was I can't really show, like, I have stuff on YouTube, so once I got their emails, I can send them an email with some of the stuff I worked on, and ask them to show me if they have any like YouTube videos or things like that. Yeah. So I talked a little bit about that, but you can say, unless you can show them, it's kind of hard. You can't really describe everything in detail. But no, it's cool. Like I said, and also they're all pretty busy working on the script now. So the story, you don't want to distract them too much from what they're working on. But yeah, I talked a little bit about it, and once the director and Joe Rule, once he's got some time, maybe I'll share some of my movies or some of my videos with him. But he's pretty busy. I said to him, I go, you're pretty cool under pressure. You're dealing, like, he goes, I don't know about that. I go, well, you're not seeming to show much. Like, he was remembering, like, he knew the shots that had to be done, and he was like, it felt like he had a very cool head on his shoulders, which is needed for a director. I've been in a director's or a co-director's position before, and it's easy to get flustered. So he didn't seem flustered at all. But yeah.
Has he been to school or film school?
He might have. I don't know too much about him. I know he's like 22 years old, because he did one of his first films when he was 16 in 2016. So I think he was born in 2000. So I guess he's 22 years old now. I think I don't know. I think his DOP might have gone to the film. So his DOP, I think, has done a few more films than he has. So he's got a little more experience. But yeah, it'd be interesting to know. I'm not sure. I wasn't able to talk to him too much in detail because he was busy shooting a script. But like I say, maybe next week, or even over online. I mean, over email or something. I can talk to him once the shooting is over. He can probably relax a little bit and get to know. Yeah.
Have you ever been on a set where the director kind of was having trouble controlling people?
Not probably just me. I was probably the worst. No, just trying to keep everything under control. When I was shooting Adrift, I had another director there, but I was like, I could just my own stuff. I could, maybe I wasn't showing it, but I felt stressed out at times.
Yeah, I imagine.
But no, I don't know. For the most part, people seem generally pretty good. I mean, I think maybe they have a good time. They're able to hide it well, maybe. I say I haven't been on that many sets, and if I have, it's usually just my friends or a low budget thing. So no, I don't remember being people freaking out too much, but being calm. Like they had a first AD, which is good, and a guy that had some experience as a first AD who was like, he's the guy that makes sure that the script, the film's running on time, and he basically he's the assistant to the director, making sure that the director can shoot everything without worrying about anything else. So he's kind of like he kind of makes sure that everything is running the right way. He's kind of like the manager of the set, kind of managing how everything works. So the director can just worry about getting the performances he needs and the stuff. So yeah, he was really good. So yeah, it's good they had an experienced person there.
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah. Would you consider directing again, or would you rather just?
Oh, I like to direct again. I've said it is a lot of pressure, but I do it on a smaller scale thing, or maybe because the first time we did it, it was so much pressure because we were on the Dingy Duck pub, which is we had to get there by ferry. We had to get there by ferry, like a small ferry, and so we had a very time limited deadline before we had to get out, which is kind of like what we had at this one, because we had to get out before the alarm was set off. So it was a time crunch. So you have to
get everything done.
Yeah, you can't really there's no wasted time. So that's pretty stressful. But if you had time where you could actually relax, I guess you never can relax on a film set, but I mean, it's hurry up and wait. But basically it's like, you always gotta go at a minute's notice, but there's like lots of downtime where you're just kind of waiting for stuff to get set up. Yeah. It's kind of like it's a weird situation, but I don't mind that. But yeah, I'd consider directing again for sure. I just would probably rather do it maybe on a less time constrictive things. If you go a half hour over, it's not going to hurt you so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, directing is fun. Because I definitely have a vision. Like, you need a strong vision and be able to communicate that properly. And if you can communicate your vision pretty well to your department heads and everything, then things go pretty well. But yeah, it was fun. Like I said, I'm sure you would have had a fun time there too. Like, I don't know if you've ever been on a film set or anything, but it's just
a couple.
You have been in a couple, yeah. Well, probably with
really low budget.
Dan.
Yeah, with a couple other friends too, like really low budget.
Right. Yeah, these are all low budget too, right? But yes, did you? Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, you get on set, people are. It's a kind of like it almost feels like you're in the army, but it's like you're actually creating something rather than destroying things. So it's like creative. So it's pretty fun, and you have a lot of camaraderie because you're kind of all in the shit together, kind of thing. Yeah. It's a pretty cool feeling.
Yeah, the one friend I helped out on a movie he was filming, it was kind of like I did a little bit of everything, like held the camera for a scene, and another scene like they needed like these hands coming in for, it was like a haunted house type thing. Just a little bit of everything.
Yeah, that's kind of what it's like on these low budget things. You just whatever needs to be done, you kind of just fill in that role.
Yeah.
Because you don't have money to pay for everyone to do every job. So you can do everything. Yeah, that's the stuff I've been doing too. I just did whatever was needed. But they also got to know when to get out of the set, like make sure you're not in the view of the camera when they're filming.
Yeah.
A couple times we were in the wrong place, and they filmed the scene and they could see us in the corners. We had to quickly move and get out of the way. So you always got to keep an eye where the camera is looking and be at the side of that cone of vision, or whatever, that field of vision.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at least you don't want to pull a Game of Thrones, like where they had Starbucks in the shot and
no
stuff.
No. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Alrighty. Is that so? Anything you want to talk about now? Like you said, you have a few things that you didn't finish talking about last time.
Oh yeah. The other day I sat down and watched the first two Scanners movies, which because we were talking about those last week.
Mm-hmm.
The Cronenberg Scanners is I haven't seen it in a long time. I like it, but it's a lot of the movies like people sitting around in boardrooms talking about like the drug and like company business, and I mean there's not a lot of head exploding like people would think,
Yeah.
It's a good movie, but it's kind of the pace is kind of
slow.
Yeah, in some spots. It doesn't help that the main actor's kind of there. He's kind of cardboard.
Mm-hmm.
And when you got Michael Ironside as the villain, and you'd rather see more of him.
Right, yeah. Yeah, because he's was it Revok or something? Is that his name?
Yeah.
That's a great name. Do they have two names or just called Revok? I can't remember.
I think it might be Daryl.
Oh, Daryl Revok. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right. Daryl Revok.
And the main guy is called Cameron Vale.
Right.
Like the hero.
Mm-hmm.
And the big revelation at the end is you learn that the scientist is their father and that they're brothers.
Right.
And they had that whole thing that like some kind of pregnancy drug caused the scanners.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's based on a real thing that happened in Europe. So there was like this drug that was supposed to help with pregnancy, and it ended up causing birth defects.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess he based it on that, but he made it like they have superpowers.
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoyed the second one a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
because
it's more flashy.
Yeah, more like an exploitation film, kind of just playing up what the cool aspects of the Scanners film. The idea of the Scanners is a really cool idea. The fact that, I mean, in a way, it's pretty low budget. The fact you can fight somebody just with your mind. But then they add those air bladder effects to get like the pumping veins or anything, and pulsating on the people's skulls and things. So because when did they come up with like air bladders was like a early 80s effect, kind of around that American Werewolf in London, that kind of
that and the Howling,
Beast Within and all that stuff. That was
I think Beast Within might have been the first one to use that.
Those air bladder effects, and then they had then a bunch of movies were using them, I know, around that time.
Yeah, the Howling and the Thing had some too, I think, didn't it?
Maybe
for some of the transformations.
Mm-hmm.
And the sequel, though, the main actor was a lot better too.
Mm-hmm.
In the lead role. He was more animated than the guy in the first Scanners.
Mm-hmm. And was he a cop or something? What was his role?
He was like he's a veterinary student.
Oh yeah.
And then there's an armed robbery, like a straight out of an exploitation movie. Like he's in a convenience store and there's an armed robbery, and he discovers he has scanner powers when they like take his girlfriend to like hostage.
Mm-hmm.
beforehand he was like healing dogs with his scanner's powers, but he didn't know he was
How
healing
do you,
dogs.
how do you heal a dog with scanner powers?
I don't know. That's one of the problems with the movies is the powers are kind of vague, really.
Right.
Because I mean, they can control people's minds, but they also have telekinesis and telepathy. And
Yeah. Right.
okay,
So you're just saying that that the powers are kind of vague, and he could heal dogs with his mind.
yeah, with the scanner's powers. And in this one, it was in the first one, it was kind of like two different pharmaceutical companies, like
Mhm.
that were kind of like trying to control the scanners. And in this one, it was the police force. They kind of wanted to use them as weapons to clean up crime in the city.
Mm-hmm.
And they had this kind of drug that they could use to control them, but it ended up turning most of the scanners into drug addicts.
Mm-hmm.
So they had them down in this like basement type clinic where they were all drug addicts, and basically they kind of looked like Deadpool without the costume on, just like all bald and
All
kind
right.
of burned out.
Mm-hmm.
But they had like this long-haired crazy guy called Drake that like he was actually like their main henchman
Mm-hmm.
that the cops used to kill other scanners.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the movie, they get the scanners patients get revenge on him by sucking the life out of him, and
Oh yeah.
which was a pretty cool effect. He was just like he looked like one of the corpses from Raiders of the Lost Ark, where it was all like shriveled up.
How about Life Force? You ever see Life Force where they kind of
Oh yeah, that too.
like, yeah. I remember that scene when they kind of they suck the life out of the people in there.
Yeah,
And they turn into these skeleton, kind of like this. The skin gets so it kind of just melts away, and then you just have the skeleton left behind.
yeah, like all emaciated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's kind of that sounds pretty cool.
yeah. I remember in the Life Force, they had that scene where the one that came back where they didn't feed it, it exploded in like this big explosion of dust.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a great movie too. I think Tarantino might be talking about that in an upcoming episode of the
Nice
of the Video Archives podcast. Not this next week, but maybe next month or something, a couple weeks away.
That's one I need to get on Blu-ray. Life Force. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah, I think there's a newer version of that came out a couple years ago.
Yeah, it might be like Shout Factory or Arrow, one of them.
Yeah.
I think that was a Canon movie too.
Yeah, it was one of the big budget ones that they had.
Yeah.
It was a crazy one because it was like so much money. Like, it definitely looks like it has a lot of money that went into it, but it's just a crazy idea. It's like who gave them the money to do all this crazy? Was it? I wonder if it was. I know it was Tobe Hooper.
Yeah, it was.
But I guess it must have been one of his last movies. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, it was definitely because I think it was for a while because it was kind of a big flop, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
At the time.
Yeah.
And I know he ended up doing low budget movies again.
Oh yeah.
Because he had that one with Brad Dourif, Spontaneous Combustion.
Oh, I never saw that one.
Yeah, that was kind of I don't know if that was late 80s, maybe 90s.
Mm-hmm.
But it was definitely a lower budget than
he had previously had. Or Invaders. He did the remake of Invaders from Mars too, didn't he?
Yeah, that might have been a Canon one too. Because I think he did a few movies for them and then didn't work out so well. I know Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 might have been part of that deal too.
Right.
And that's just like kind of like John Carpenter. I think he was supposed to do some movies for Canon, but it never happened.
Yeah, they had I know they had a lot of money. Canon was making a lot of money after for a while, and then they had a few big budget flops. They had that Runaway Train, which got like Oscar nominations and everything.
Yeah.
But I don't think John Voight was in that. And who's Eric Roberts was in that too.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I don't think it did very well at the box office either, but they had it was like a big kind of like a big budget kind of their throw the ring in the Oscar race kind of
Yeah.
attempt, and I think it said it got like Oscar nominations. I don't know if it won anything.
Yeah, that's a good question. But I remember at the time it was like heavily promoted because I remember
Yeah.
seeing commercials for it.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you saw Prey, the new
Yeah,
Predator?
I saw Prey. Yeah, I watched that. I wanted to see the version that was all in Comanche with like
I was
subtitles,
going to ask you about that if you saw that
but
version.
I didn't see. The one I saw had a little bit of Comanche in it, but it was predominantly English.
Yeah, they
And
pull a Hunt for Red October where they kind of
yeah,
start in Comanche and then switch.
yeah, but it's not as well done as that. Yeah, it's kind of they only say a poem at the beginning in Comanche, and then they kind of translate the poem into English afterwards. So it's yeah, it's not done as kind of poetically as it did in Hunt for October
You
on the
know,
on the Armageddon scent or word or whatever. But
yeah,
it was well done. Like I said, I enjoyed it. The beginning, I said I stopped the beginning a few times because the beginning wasn't as engaging as I hoped. But
yeah,
once kind of like the first third is done, the rest of it kind of kicks into high gear and it's quite action packed, and it kind of sucked me in for the rest of the movie. But the beginning was a little slow, I guess, because it's just showing them kind of learning what the predator is, and we already know what it is, so it's kind of like
yeah,
rehashing old ground.
yeah.
But
I've heard that.
but it was a cool setting, like the idea that it's like
In the 1700s.
1700 North America, kind of like basically it's like first contact, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
How
well done.
how was the Predator? I mean, did it
It
look?
looks a little, the face looks a little different. I mean, it was well done. The jumping around from tree to tree and stuff. You could see him doing that. It looked pretty well done. He was cloaked most of the time, or at least part of the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, the face of the creature looked a little different than the regular predator, which I thought was a bit why they changed it up so much. He looked a
Yeah,
little more primitive, maybe a primitive face, but
yeah. They have a tendency to do that in some of the movies. They like the Adrian Brody one where they kind of instead of sticking with the classic one, they kind of mess
mhm,
around and make him look a little different.
yeah.
Oh, did he still have like the advanced weaponry? I mean, how did
Yeah,
they get around?
he had some advanced weaponry, but he didn't have laser guns.
Yeah.
He had those three laser points that he used to target like
Oh, for
the
target?
targeting,
Yeah.
and he had like spears that would shoot out, like kind of like throwing, I guess, like shooting spears.
Oh, yeah.
And he had a razor net which you would
Yeah.
throw out and capture, and it would kind of slice through somebody.
Oh, yeah. I think he had that in the second one.
Yeah, and he
Predator
had
2.
yeah, and he had a shield that he could use, I think, as a
Oh.
blade weapon too. He had kind of like
Oh.
a shield that would come out. So yeah, that was all pretty good. But he wasn't like blasting them with like like laser cannons or anything like that. He didn't have a
Yeah.
cannon built on. But yeah, it was interesting. I guess he started out not even knowing there was humans on it. He was like
Oh.
hunting. He was hunting like wolves at first.
Oh,
Like
really?
he started off with like animals. He would like get an
Yeah.
animal's wolf, and he got the wolf skull from a wolf skull. He got the spine and wolf skull, and he kept that. And then
Huh.
he found a human later on after he killed the bear. But
So they're
yeah,
kind of redoing the origin of how they.
yeah, yeah.
And I heard, speaking of the animals, I've heard some people say the CG on the bear and some of the other animals is kind of a little
Dodgy.
awkward.
Yeah, some parts of it looks good. Sometimes it looks just like, yeah, it definitely looks CG. Like it doesn't look quite normal or natural.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard it looks
Um,
the movement's a little awkward sometimes.
yeah. I mean, some scenes it looks okay, but yeah, I mean, I'd rather them use that real or real animal as much as they could. But I think they just totally CG'd it as much. I think as much as possible. I don't think they even had a fake or like a trained bear or anything in there.
Oh yeah, I imagine it probably save on budget. It was a lot easier to
Yeah,
have a fake bear.
yeah. But yeah, that's one thing. I didn't like the CG a lot. Some of the CG, and I think all the blood effects are fake blood is CG
Oh
too,
yeah,
or most of it anyway. Maybe they had some that was real, but yeah, that was a bit. Yeah, I didn't. The CG wasn't the was one of the worst parts of it, I guess. But for the most part, it didn't affect my enjoyment too much.
yeah,
Um, but another fun scene is when I guess they come up with a bunch of French buffalo hunters,
yeah,
where they're like poachers that are like poaching just slaughtering all the buffalo, and
yeah.
then they come under attack by this predator. So they're kind of like, there's a lot of kind of commentary on what's like, why are you hunting? Why are you killing? Like,
Oh yeah,
is it for sport? Is it for profit? Is it for survival? Is it for
yeah.
like
Just to
eating?
kill.
Is to yeah, exactly, or for a trophy or something. So there's a lot of kind of like every kind of character has their own reason for hunting and killing. So it was interesting seeing how that played out.
And I heard there's a little Easter egg there to tie it into the other films that.
Yeah, at the end there's like I think one of the French poachers, whatever, had a pistol that was the one that I think Danny Glover got at the end of the
Oh, it's
Predator
Predator
2.
2?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Huh.
I think that's what they're talking about.
So they're kind of setting up maybe a sequel to.
Right. I saw a thing on Facebook saying, who would want to, I mean, the guy was just pitching like a premise. He goes, how about this set in like feudal Japan? Hiroyuki Sanada goes on the warpath after the predator has killed. He's like a masterless Ronin who has to go hunt down a predator after the predator kills his master, and he's unable to save him. So it's like that sounds pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
In like feudal Japan, and there's no guns, you just have all this samurai swords and katanas and everything, hunting down. You can even imagine like ninjas going after like.
Oh yeah.
Going after, because like stealth versus stealth or something like that, or hunting him down.
I could see that. I could see like the samurais on horseback with bows, maybe.
Yeah. That's a cool idea, I think.
Yeah, that reminds me of that was like the best scene in that Predators movie, the Adrian Brody one. There was like a Yakuza, one of the criminals the Predator was hunting was a Yakuza.
Oh yeah.
He had a katana on him, and that was like the best scene in the whole film, where he faced off against the Predator on his own with a katana, like a field of grass.
Right.
A whole movie of like that would be great.
Yeah, maybe they should do that.
Yeah. Now, I was going to ask you, how did it feel? Did it feel like a Hollywood thing, or did it feel like they were using authentic, like, Indian culture, or did it feel like they kind of?
Maybe a bit of both. I mean, it felt a little bit. I mean, it felt fairly authentic, but I mean, since they're speaking in English, it's not. Yeah. I mean, it's obviously they're doing that for money. I mean, because it's more accessible if you can speak in English. Yeah. Rather than reading subtitles, so that didn't feel as authentic. I mean, and I know that a lot of the native actors aren't actually Comanche. Yeah. They're like First Nations Plains natives, whatever. But they are not Comanches. I think they have to learn the language. But I mean, it's for Hollywood, it's pretty well done. Yeah. You gotta give them some credit.
Yeah. I know the main actress, she's like quite a few different mixes of
I think Lakota and Dakota or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is like a plains indigenous people there. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, you gotta give them some.
Yeah, I give them a lot of credit for casting like they did, instead of like James Franco is I've heard that he got some trouble with him. Was he going to play Castro or something?
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
when you've got all these great Spanish actors that could like play him or something, and James Franco.
Yeah. I guess he kind of looks like him, I guess, but
yeah.
I think, who knows? But yeah. So I thought, I recommend Prey. I think it's probably my third favorite of the Prey things that I've seen. I haven't seen that many. I've only seen I think it is probably my third. Oh no, I've seen Alien versus Predator, but I've seen the Predator is probably one, Predator 2 I like the second, and this one I like the third amount, which is favorite.
Yeah. The Adrian Brody one's okay.
Yeah. Is that the Robert Rodriguez one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that what planet are they on?
They're just like on an alien planet. The Predators like dump a bunch of like random like criminals and mercenaries there to hunt.
Oh yeah.
For like
it's kind of like a what do you call it, like a hunting preserve kind of thing.
Yeah. And it's not bad. It's not bad, but it's a little hard to buy Adrian Brody is like because they like try to make him look really buff and stuff. And I mean, he did work out, but still. But and then they got like a lot of good actors in there, but they're a lot better than he is. Like you got Danny Trejo is like a cartel member. You got all these mercenaries and stuff, and then you have like Topher Grace, which is kind of.
Who does he play?
He plays a doctor, like, and you go, and then at the end you find out the reason they picked him is because he's actually like a serial killer.
Yeah.
So he turns out to be like the human villain at the end, and.
Oh yeah.
He tries to like kill both of them, and then like so he can get off the planet. And then you have like Lawrence Fishburne is he's like the guy that's been there for a while. So he knows how to hunt the predators, but he's kind of like crazy too. Oh
yeah. Is he kind of like the Kurtz
character? Definitely.
I was just thinking the way you describe it made me think of kind of like that,
Yeah, he's got his own
guy that's been in the jungle too long, kind of thing.
Yeah, oh, definitely. And then the Shane Black one, I think that one suffers from the fact that they went back and refilmed so much of it. Yeah. There's like good parts to it, but there's a lot of like cheesy like stuff that the studio seems like the studio might have made them add. Like, like there's at the end of the movie, there's like they have sequel bait, like they find this predator killing armor that the military wants to use to fight the predators, and it's just kind of corny.
It's kind of like setting up a new franchise or something. I was actually remember last night I was talking to the guys in the mall film, and one of the guys he kind of was saying that they'd seen Prey and they enjoyed it, but they're saying how the Shane Black Predator was underrated and how there was some good stuff in it, like how who is Thomas Jane, how he had like Tourette's syndrome or something. I thought that was really, really funny. How good he.
I enjoyed his character. And the one that's not a director of Key and Peele,
Key, I think.
Yeah, he was really good in it too. He's kind of like a wise ass type of character. But yeah, Thomas Jane's character was a lot of fun because like you said, he had Tourette's, so he was constantly like saying the wrong thing at the wrong moment. But I guess the original, and I guess they filmed it because there's stills online you could see on different sites. Originally, there's like the movie was a lot different where there was like two factions of predators, and some of the like the classic looking predators were like helping the military because they had pictures of them like fighting with the military like against new predators, but I guess for whatever reason they changed.
That sounds actually kind of interesting in a way.
Yeah, there was some kind of Yeah, there's kind of like a Predator Civil War, I guess, or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also weird because it's like the Shane Black movie that doesn't take place during Christmas. It's like
Yeah.
set on Halloween,
Mm.
which just seems wrong.
Yeah, for uh for Shane Black for sure.
Yeah. So you've seen the first two, and then the first Alien Predator?
Yeah, I think I've seen the first Alien Predator. I think that's what I saw. I can't. It was so long ago. I can't even remember
Yeah. Was it
much
the one
about
that
it.
was it the one that takes place in the Arctic?
Uh, I know it takes place on Earth, somewhere on
Yeah.
Earth. But I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know where. Yeah, it might have been the Arctic. It might have been the one with the big pyramid in the Arctic. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I think so. I don't remember too much about it.
Yeah,
But
that's the trouble with them.
yeah.
Um did have you watched anything else or haven't had a chance to?
No, I want to see Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. I was thinking of checking that out
Yeah.
pretty soon.
Does
And
that
I
open
guess
to?
yeah, it's opened. I think it opened on Thursday night. So
Yeah.
tonight's the first full day of it. Maybe I'll see that in the weekend or something, or early next week. But I also guess there's a new Aubrey Plaza movie out there called something the Criminal,
Oh yeah, yeah.
which is supposed to be pretty good too.
Yeah, the trailer for that looked pretty good.
Yeah, it's called maybe it's Emily the Criminal or something the Criminal, some person.
Yeah.
But she plays yeah, kind of like someone's. I don't know too many details, but just know that she's caught up in the criminal life, and that looks pretty good. How about yourself? Have you seen it? You've seen lots of movies.
Oh
Anything?
yeah. The other thing I saw, I watched over the weekend. I watched the TV cut of Halloween 2, which is
Oh
like
yeah.
a bonus on the Blu-ray.
Hmm.
It's kind of weird. I mean, it has extra scenes that for that they use in the TV cut,
Mm-hmm.
and it's got like all the swearing's been edited out, so it's kind of
Right.
weird there. But it's also kind of edited weird. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I'm not sure why they edited it the way they did. So, like scenes that are at the beginning of the theatrical cut are just kind of stuck in another part of the movie, and
Oh really? Like the things are
yeah,
moved, scenes are moved around quite a bit.
yeah, it's like I'm not sure why they did it like that. I mean, it makes the continuity of the movie very weird, and like
Mm-hmm.
characters just kind of disappear and then like come back later on because they the way they move scenes around, and some of the deaths are actually like just out of the movie, and so it's like what happened to that character?
Mm-hmm.
They're just gone.
Hmm.
You never see Michael Myers kill him.
No, that's kind of weird. That's kind of the whole point of the movie, isn't it?
Yeah. And the dubbing is very obvious.
Mm-hmm.
You can like the voice changes like completely when somebody swears and they dub it over. And
So you saw Halloween 2, and that was that the first time seeing that TV cut of the movie?
no, actually that I used to watch that on TV like every year, the
Oh
TV
yeah,
cut. Back
oh yeah,
before the you could
right.
rent movies. I used to watch that all the time. I think I've seen that version of that
More.
Halloween, that version of that movie more than I've seen the first one.
Hmm.
Because it used to be, yeah, it seemed like it used to be on TV like every Halloween
Right.
they played the second one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why the second one. Maybe the first was harder to get, or
Yeah.
but they used to play the third one quite a bit on TV too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I guess, and I heard that someone was saying, I think last night about this thing too. They're thinking of remaking the season of the witch, making another, not maybe making it, but making another anthology, a Halloween anthology
Oh,
kind of
really?
series. Yeah, because they
Really?
kind of getting back to the original Carpenter idea that instead
Oh, I have a different.
every Halloween it'll be a different kind of like horror anthology, a Halloween anthology, and that'd be kind of cool to get back to that kind of idea.
That would be cool to see, especially if they use some of their old plans maybe that they had.
Yeah, because they can't really use Jamie Lee Curtis that much anymore. She's got to be getting the end of her fighting weight or whatever.
Yeah, it'd kind of be ridiculous to see her, kind of like Roger Moore in A View to a Kill, where like 90% of that movie was like a stuntman filling in for him. Now, the other thing that like this week, there's a Heat sequel, like a novel.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Now, who does that follow? Is that like about Pacino's character? Or?
Yeah, Pacino. I think it's Pacino going after Val Kilmer's character in the movie.
Okay.
I think it's him kind of being obsessed with getting the rest of the crew, the remaining crew. I think I haven't read it yet, but that's just what I've heard. But it looks mostly pretty good, and it looks pretty interesting. So, I think the main theme is about obsession and how that character just can't let go of hunting down the other members of the surviving members of the crew. I think I think mainly Val Kilmer's character.
So it also almost sounds like it makes Pacino's character maybe the antagonist.
Yeah, maybe.
So is it like a direct sequel, like right after the first movie, or does it take place?
I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. I think it is. I think it actually spans a number of years.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong, but I think it is. I think I did hear that it starts off where the movie finishes, so it kind of takes up where the other one ends. I think so. I'd have to read it first, but it definitely looks interesting.
Now, did Mann co-write it or write it?
Yeah, I think he's basically he wrote it, but there's another co-author involved too. So maybe they helped write part of it, but I think he had I think he has lots of notes, and I think he did a lot of research for Heat, like interviewing real criminals and things. So he has a lot of that.
Oh, okay.
A lot of that backstory. I think it was the same character he used when he was researching Thief. I think they're kind of a similar one. The criminal world. He really.
Yeah, that does have a similar feel.
Yeah.
And there's wasn't there like originally like it started out as a TV movie or something?
Yeah, he made it called LA Takedown, I think.
Yeah.
Which is available on YouTube, and I started watching a bit of that. It's pretty interesting, seeing different characters play roles that you're kind of familiar with.
Yeah.
So like instead of Al Pacino's coked out Hannah, there's like a guy that's a little more mellow doing it. I think interesting. It's not quite the same character, but yeah. No, it's pretty good. You can find that on YouTube. You can maybe try to track that down. I can maybe send you a link.
Oh yeah.
But I started watching it. It's interesting. I say it's definitely lower budget than the movie, but it has some of the same beats and everything.
Yeah.
It definitely is like a practice run or a rehearsal for the movie for sure.
Yeah. It's interesting too that because I was reading an article about the legacy of Heat, and it was just talking about like all the people it influenced. Like I guess it was a big influence on the Christopher Nolan like films, like the Batman films, and
yeah, I can see a bit of that. Like the organized crime, getting like a heist together, or whatever, some sort of armored car heist or something like that. And everything's planned out to the second and everything. Those are always interesting seeing those go down.
I'm surprised they never turned Heat into like a
TV series, like Miami.
Yeah.
I think he actually supposedly was. I think LA Takedown was supposed to be a pilot or something like that.
Really?
It was originally going to be like a series, I think, after that, but never happened.
It didn't get picked up.
No, so they didn't even made it into a movie after that.
Yeah,
but I think it was originally supposed to be a series. That's what I read, but I'm not 100% sure.
I haven't seen much of Mann's like modern stuff.
No.
I have to check some of it out. I mainly stick with like his 80s and 90s.
Yeah. And I really want to see. I guess the Video Archive podcast is coming out soon. I think the next one on Tuesday is they're going to talk about Keep, and I really want to see that. I really want to hear what Tarantino and Avery have to say about that. I think
me
too. Be pretty interesting. I'm really excited to hear that one.
I wish maybe the newfound talk about it would get some kind of DVD or Blu-ray.
Blu-ray out of it. Because I think there's supposed to be a 210-minute cut that was taken by the studios and then cut down to 90 minutes. That's why kind of the movie doesn't make that much sense. But
yeah,
it'd be nice to see that 210. But I know that Michael Mann's he's kind of
against.
Yeah, he wants nothing to do with it anymore, which is unfortunate. He doesn't want to. Yeah. Guess it left a bad taste in his mouth,
which is a shame because
there's lots of things I love about that movie. It's just got a very strong vision. It's really kind of ahead of its time. It's actually affected like a lot of the way I write. It's actually affected. I think it's had an impact on kind of the stories I can tell too. So
yeah,
I think it had a big impact on me as when I saw it as a kid.
Yeah, like that one shot you mentioned, that Polway shot.
Yeah.
Where they find the tomb or the vault
inside the keep. Yeah, great shot. Anyway, I guess we're kind of running out of time here, so maybe we'll wrap this up.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see how the rest of your filming goes.
Yeah, I'll be back next week for sure. I can see how that goes. Next week we should continue on. I'll be there on Wednesday, so
yeah. That your day off for work? So
I get Wednesday off. Well, I usually work Wednesday, but this time I'm working the Thursday, so I have the Wednesday off, so I can go Wednesday.
That worked out good.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So we'll stop here, I guess, and we can have. Yeah. Did your cat want any dinner? Last time your cat wanted.
No, dinner. I made sure to feed her first this time.
All right.
So no interruptions.
No interruptions this time. Okay, I thought there might be a little meowing in the corner when that was this time. Okay. Okay, then. Okay, we'll then finish this and see you next week then.
Yeah, see you next week.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good conversation. Okay.
Yeah.